My mom's strung out in the front room, you know what I mean? On whatever substance she's on right there. No pops is in the home, so I'm in the back room and there's a piano with light up keys. Mind you, nobody taught me how to play.
Hey, what's good, guys? I'm Nathan Ball, the owner designer of UNSHOOK Clothing, and I'm sitting here today doing the next episode of Disaster Tested, an interview series, and we are sitting with Lamar, Bryant Lamar, the musician that I met not too long ago and got a really good first impression of.
Yes,
I need you to talk to the people right now, B.
What's going on, people? It's your boy B. Happy to be here. Happy to support the line, man, and happy to just get this interview going, man. I'm scared about what you're gonna ask me, bro.
It's good to have you, dog. A lot of energy coming from you from the second I met you, for real. Like, and it resonates every time. It's just something to remember. Is every time you in a building, or especially on the microphone, it's a lot of energy. Where does all that energy come from, and why does it not go away?
Man, honestly, it does go away. And I've even learned through time to conserve energy for those big moments. Just wisdom, you know. But honestly, man, it's God-given, man. It's one of those things. When I need it, it's there. And when it's not for my benefit, I've learned to put it in the box, store it away for later, man.
I heard you just talk about wisdom.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and tell the people how old you are, because this is going to segue into something perfect.
Oh, man. How old am I? 31?
31?
I think I'm 31.
31.
Yeah.
And how long you been doing music?
I've been doing music for over 10 years, man.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And are you where you want to be, or you still got a long way to go?
Still got a long way to go, man, but we've definitely made progress. Shout out to my team. Shout out to For You Media Group, man. Yeah. It's just been a journey, man. But this year has been a great year. It's been a year of progress, man.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I just want to, shine light on the fact that things aren't going to happen overnight.
Nah.
And you don't really truly love something until it's kind of bringing you a lot of grief, and you got to get over that hump.
Yeah.
You got to respect the craft enough to be able to do it when it's not, working in your favor. So one day you will end up on the other side.
Definitely.
Much better than how you started,
You got to wrestle with it. You know what I mean? You got to wrestle with it in order to be able to appreciate it. There's got to be some type of struggle or process attached, man.
Yeah. So this interview series, I titled it Disaster Tested.
I like that, by the way.
What do those two words off the bat, without thinking too hard, what do those two words mean to you, disaster tested?
That has been crazy. You've been through it. You weathered the storm. It's almost like quality of manufacturing, right?
Yeah.
You've been put through the quality test to know, will this product last in society, or is it just gonna go,
Right.
Can it not weather?
As a person, it's
Yes,
like we've proven ourselves to the world, and I try to include that in my clothing as well, put the clothing through its own disasters to represent the struggles that we go through. What role does clothing play in your life, specifically as an artist?
Man, I'm learning a lot, to be honest with you. I am.
So am I.
If it were me, I'm a Henley, and just I keep it simple, man.
Mess with it.
But I'm also understanding that in this world of visuals, that the swag, the drip, all of it adds to the value. You know what I mean? It adds to the imagery. It adds to the swag, and to the brand.
There's a lot to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do with a simple T-shirt. You can go crazy with just a simple T-shirt, and we're not, and then you get involved with jackets and button-ups, and there's just so much possibility. And I just think it's dope when artists are able to have the full package, where they sound dope and they look dope, and everything that's involved with them is interesting. Because in this life, if everybody had to wear a suit and tie and be uniform, it'd be a little gray, it'd be a little boring. So
this is true.
I really like when I see performers, whether they're wearing UNSHOOK stuff or not, if they're able to do something that really catches my eye, I'm gonna watch them, a little more. And that's why I really want to sit down with a bunch of you entertainers, musicians, and chop it up with you guys, because you're really the front runners when it comes to tastemakers in fashion. A lot of such, specifically hip hop right now.
Yeah, it's on the wave. It is the wave. Right?
Who do you think are, and this is gonna be a tough question. I need you to give me your top 2 rappers who dress well right now.
This is gonna be.
And they don't have to dress like you. You just have to like how they look.
No. Off the top, and I'm probably gonna get all kind of comments
Not
on
mad
this,
at you.
but I'm gonna say Jaden.
Mm-hmm.
The typical answer is Kanye when it comes to hip hop and clothing.
Nowadays, it's a little
different now. But I'm gonna go Pharrell on him.
Yeah.
Because he's one of those, like, he could throw the simplest of clothes on and he's gonna make it work.
He's had his hands on so many brands that people don't even know that he did.
That's crazy.
Pharrell, you definitely can't leave Pharrell out.
Yeah.
I would say, Young Thug's pants a little too tight for my liking, but everything else he got on. Like, Thug always has a different look to him. And I just respect that he's able to pull it off, because I could never wear pants that tight.
Man,
you know what I'm saying? Tell me a little bit about music and just the role it plays in your life. Like, when things start to look rough, why is it that you keep going back to music instead of, either substances or other things? Why is it music? And is there anything else included in that mix along with music that you just keep going back to? Why is that?
Man, it's crazy that you asked me. It's crazy that you asked me both of those questions, like why music and is there anything else? The answer to the second question is there absolutely is something else. It is, my faith is very, very strong in my belief system. Just growing up as a Christian, and even exploring some other things that align with Christianity but aren't necessarily mentioned like that. It's been a journey for me. But for me, it's one and the same, where my first introduction to, God or the Spirit or anything like that was me. My mom strung out in the front room, you know what I mean? On whatever substance she's on right there. No pops is in the home. So I'm in the back room and there's a piano with light up keys. Mind you, nobody taught me how to play, but I have a moment, what I believe to be God, man. And I feel like I heard a voice in that moment tell me, this is a C, this is a D, this is a E, this is an F. And I wish I could sit at the piano and tell you a different story of how I know those notes. You know what I mean? But if I'm 100% honest with you, that's how I know those notes when I sit down to play. That was my first introduction to quote unquote music theory, man. So the piano is always a place I go back to whenever things get hard. If you were talking to somebody who lived in my household right now, they would tell you, like, after my pops passed, one of the first things I did is I just went in the studio and just played, you know what I mean? And just let that come out, let that emotion be what it was, allow it in some of the sounds that it came out of me in that moment were darker, and some of the sounds that came up where we ended at was a little bit lighter, but there's always a conversation. When I sit down at the piano, it's always a conversation between me and God, man. And so that's always home.
I love that.
Yeah.
As a child and just those years coming up with that adversity, coming from there and going through and seeing some of the things you saw, what are some of the hardest moments you've been through, and how can you look at them now, having overcome them, as moments that allowed you to grow as a person?
Yeah, I mean, let me start by saying I'm a blessed man, and it's something that I didn't realize until I got older, exactly how blessed I was. I grew up in a duality type situation, to where my mom was definitely, in the streets. She was that person. But I was adopted by my grandmother, who's a doctor, you know what I mean? So kind of lived two lives, but a lot of the craziness, of course, was with my mom. And so I've seen knives get pulled on people. I've seen people get stabbed, man. I've seen a lot of domestic violence, a lot of women-led domestic violence, which isn't talked about as much, but it does happen. You know, I've seen my mama clean clocks, man. At the end of the day, I've also seen, the adverse side of that. If she's had her clock clean and all of that, I've had to fight grown men and all of that, man. And that is part of life in the hood, that is kind of just that culture. But thank my grandmother also for providing an alternative reality for me to see something different, and that I didn't grow up with the chaos being my only reality. You know what I mean?
You got to see the other side, and I guess that gave you more of a balance of like what to pursue.
Yeah.
And it's so great just hearing about people who are able to go through these environments that aren't the most nurturing, and nurture it for themselves, you know, because we're always preaching you got to believe in yourself. You got to have self-strength before you can look for it from anybody else. And so I really think you're a good testament to that.
Thank you.
Is
I
making it, nobody makes it on their own, but a lot of that is going to come from internal.
Yeah.
And so definitely a reason why I wanted to have you here and talk to you just about a little bit of your story.
Yeah, man.
It is quite the interesting story. And now you're here making dope music. And people like it.
Yeah.
And so that's definitely an accomplishment. Tell the people about I guess the song that you put out there and it got a lot of feedback, and just how you felt within like the week surrounding that song release. Like, what was a really special song for you that a lot of people got to hear?
Details is one of the Details is is a single I have out right now that's doing really, really well, and it came at a surprise because it was one of my first intros into that style of music. It's a little bit more poppy. It's a little bit more sing-songy, but the hook works, man. The story is a personal story. It was for me to release a song, honestly, just talking about my journey through coming from Oklahoma to San Diego, just in a vibey way, for people to lock in with that and watch it being added to people's playlists and all of that, man. That was very humbling. It was also a lot of confirmation too. Like,
refreshing. Right?
Yeah, it's like I'm not dumb. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what you're doing.
This run that, like,
Trust your instinct.
Exactly. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep going. Yeah. I'm not dumb. Obviously, the product is solid. If it wasn't, people wouldn't be playing it. So now we just got to work on how we get the product to the people. Right.
What advice would you give to the people watching who are creators and they're making stuff and they're not sure if they should do what they think is right, or what others might like?
I'll be 100% in it. You won't hear this from a lot of artists. A lot of artists out there would tell you, do you, right? And that's great advice. That's a longer journey. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's a longer journey. If you could figure out how to rap with what you do in the clothes of what is popular, not only will you stay true to yourself, but you'll still see progress. You'll see progress at a little bit faster rate than if you were just doing you without any type of thought behind it.
I think people need to realize that we're creators, and if you are truly trying to do this as a source of income, then you're going to have to make yourself in your truest form marketable for where people are going to want to engage. And you can't be mad at if you don't want to listen to me. You can't be mad at that person.
Exactly.
It's their opinion. So I think it's important to have that foundation and be grounded on what makes you you. Yeah. And then maneuver to find out how are people, what are people looking for and how can I deliver it to them in my way. I think you do that very well. You're very versatile. I mean, I don't know too many people who say I'm a rapper and I'm in a rock band. Like, it's very a lot of different things coming out from your end.
So I started doing a lot more hip hop because I started seeing how marketable it was. You know what I mean? And also it's still my culture. It's still my people. You know what I mean?
Good at it too.
And thank you. But the rock side, that's where I started in music. You know what I mean? The rock, it encompasses a lot more symphonic music, orchestral music.
You told me you made scores.
Exactly, man. So that allows my musicianship to come out a lot more, and I'm more passionate about that music. Okay. So we play both sides.
I like it. Go ahead and tell the people about your business side of music. What are your releases coming up? What is something you want them to listen to and get invested in?
Yeah, man. So my band, A Day of Stars, we're gonna release 2 songs next year. One called Take Me, one called American Girls. Actually, in the reverse
2020,
order.
Right?
2020.
2020.
The goal of next year is to encompass the band in everything that I do. So if I'm doing a rock concert, let's do some of the hip hop songs there too. Yeah. And make arrangements for the band to be there. And you know what I mean?
That'd be really tight.
we could rock it out. Either way, I don't like being told no. Yeah. So if there's a venue saying we can't perform there based upon the type of genre of music it is, music is music, baby. Like, we could switch the genre. That's nothing. I just want to be on stage somewhere. You know what I mean?
Well, I need you guys to go follow B on his Instagram because these songs might not be out yet, but he's definitely releasing in 2020. So there's going to be a link in the description to his Instagram as well as any musical links to any of his Spotify, Apple Music, so you guys can really start listening to the effort that he's putting into his music.
Yes, sir.
And while you're down there, there's a link to UNSHOOKclothing.com. And just for being on my Instagram, you guys get 10% off just because you're watching this on YouTube and following my Instagram. So go click the shop and find something you like. B, you have anything else for them?
Man, other than that, I think we covered it. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Appreciate you for having me,
It's been great, dog.
Real quick on the Bryant Lamar side, we are going to have releases back to back all year. So don't just expect 2 songs.
That's what I'm saying.
We're gonna have.
Stay tuned. Hit him on Instagram. Hit me on UNSHOOKclothing.com. And other than that, stay unshook and go do something cool today.
We gon' really catch a vibe. We gon' really catch a vibe. Little more drink up in my car. Little more green up